Now, the next one I'm going to have a look at is this one here. It's actually from exercise 30.01. This is question 4 we're going to look at. By the way, you can look this up on Google Classroom, but I'd rather talk you through this because this is a little bit of an interesting one, and it talks about something curious called side-by-side bar graphs. Now, a usual bar graph looks something like this, and I'll just draw it up using squared paper. So most people are used to a bar graph where they've got a baseline of some sort, and that might be something like this might be 0, for example, and they might have a number of things coming off there. So these might be, let's say, the cost of items, or it might be, these might be a range of masses, for example. So these might be cars or spacecraft or people or houses or whatever else, yeah? So you can see the relative weights or heights or speeds or whatever these things are and what they represent. But these are ranges. But the range is always coming from wherever the bottom is here. And as often as not, it comes from 0. But if we have side-by-side bar graphs, then what we can do is we can represent a range that doesn't start at 0. So, for example, let's say this was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and let's say, for example, this was mass. Let's say this kilogram. Well, let's say the item was starting at a range of 20 kilograms to, say, 50 kilograms, and that might be the bar that represents that. So that's what side-by-side bars are. They actually represent ranges. So the next one might be, let's say, 30 going right up to, let's say, what have we got here? 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So that's between 30 and 80 kilograms. So that's what a side-by-side bar graph is. Now, if you have a look at the actual answer, here it is. They've obviously got a piece of software they do this on. But I would rather you just do it like this. And it makes perfect sense. So what they've got is you've got a list of activities here, be it rafting or abseiling or climbing or jet skiing or whatever, and they've got a price range for these things. Now, they represent the price range like this, which is perfectly fine. The scale here I don't think is particularly useful because it's not very accurate. Like the increments here sort of either 50, 100, 150, 200. So if you were wanting to have finer increments like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, then you could see with greater precision whether something falls within your budget. So along the bottom, you're going to have the range of activities, and along this side, they've got the price of those activities, and then they've got the ranges of those prices. So we can see outdoor rock climbing is somewhere between, and it's like probably, I'd say, about 100 to about probably just below 200. But that's what it looks like. Let's see what rock climbing actually is. So I reckon it's about 100 to just under 200. Rock climbing. Where's rock climbing? Indoor rock. Oh, that's for indoor rock climbing. We want outdoor rock climbing. Oh, 95 to 185. What did I say it was? Yeah, just under 200. And I actually said it was 100, so I got that a little bit wrong. But ultimately, the finer increments you've got here, the better you're going to be able to represent that. Anyway, that's what a side-by-side bar graph actually is. And at the bottom here it says, and this I thought was very interesting, paragliding cannot be represented by a bar graph because there is no range, yeah? So we need a range in order for it to be represented by one of these graphs. Okay, hope that's useful, folks. Anyway, that's the way which I would answer this, and I would kind of do it just using a standard, good old-fashioned bar graph, but this time you won't start at 0, you'll start wherever the range starts, and you'd write the range of activities underneath each particular graph. Hope that helps, folks. Any other questions, get back to me.